All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's class of front-end development beginner. Uh, Today we're going to be covering the basic JavaScript, which we already started last week. Been able to touch some part of the basic JavaScript, the variables, values, and stuff like that. So today we're going to just move on what we have already. Like I said, we have a tone of things we are supposed to cover that we will not be able to cover everything, but tons of stuff that we're supposed to cover in JavaScript. JavaScript is not an ending. You cannot finish learning it. You have to keep learning JavaScript because it's really wide and you cannot finish it.
Boss, I'm sorry, please. Sorry for interrupting you. Can you speak a little bit louder?
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So like I'm saying that JavaScript is not something you learn and then you just leave, right? It's not something you start learning and then you feel maybe after a year or two, you're good to go on JavaScript or with JavaScript. No, JavaScript is something you learn continuously throughout your lifetime. So because we always have versions, we have new things coming. We have, for example, last year, was it last year, earlier this year, they introduced bundle.js. Sometimes they introduce a lot of introduction every time, right? So when you have the new framework or a new library, you have to go there and then learn, see how it works, and then try to understand it. And these things happen almost every time. You have to just keep going and keep updating yourself, okay? Being updated to the current development and all of that. So, but for this training, for KodeCamp 3.0, we're going to be covering at least what we are going to need, right, to be able to use JavaScript for our page, to be able to fetch some API somewhere so that you can use data to your page and all of that. So you may not be able to cover the deep function part of JavaScript like classes, deep functions and all that, but we're going to cover the basics. So before we get to this, okay, last week I think we covered we're using free code camp, if you guys can remember, and I asked everyone to have an account. How I wish we can all just be with our system right now and then we follow up while I solving these problems. That would be very, very nice. But if you're not, you can still follow up with what I'm doing. But before I go down to this, I want to show us what I was explaining earlier about having pages on the same folder or inside the same folder, sorry. So right now I have index.html, right? So then let's say I need about page, I'll have about.html, right? And then I need service page, services.html. So all my pages should be outside like this. This is basically outside inside my parent folder, which is intro.js. Forget about this app. This is because we have it before. Now, if I want to have my CSS, I will now create a folder, right? Then inside the CSS, I can now create style.css, right? I can have multiple CSS. I can say about.css for people that like to differentiate their styling and their pages. Some persons like to give, okay, if I'm styling about, I want to have a different CSS for about. If I'm styling services, I want to have different. Why some persons like to just put all the styling in the same file, right? So it's just however you want to be. And then you can now create another folder for.
Hello, sir. Can you please
Yeah,
increase the font size?
okay, thank you. The font size. Right, is this clear enough? Is this bold enough?
It's better.
Yeah, it's bold enough. All right, thank you. So now I have my CSS folder, I have my pages about index and HTML. I want to create another JavaScript folder, so I can just say JS like this. So inside this JavaScript, can now have, let's say, app.js. Remember, I said it is best that we start our JS from app.js. Okay, let's say I want to have another one, swiper, right? Remember, swiper.js inside my JS. I want to have another one, I can say bootstrap.js. Just now every of JavaScript file is inside my JS folder. And then the last thing could be an assets, which I explained earlier. Assets, right? That's a folder. You can have asset or you can have image. If you don't want to have asset, you can have image. right? So at the same time, you can have asset, and inside the asset, you have your image folder, img, and then again, you can have another one, we call it font, right? And I can still have another one, I can call it, what can I call it? I can say icon. So now inside each of this one, I'll just put my image here, I'll put my icon here, and then I'll put my font here, right? And then when I want to route, let's say I want to link anything inside the image, instead of me doing, okay, let's do that first. Let's try. I want to link something inside an image inside my image folder, right? Let me just assume I have a file here. I have cat.png. This is not an image, there's nothing there. I just put that one there so that we can use our HTML to link it. So this is the index, and I have an image tag. So I'll just say dot like this. Dot slash to go to the assets, and then go to the image, and then look for your cat.png. Remember, we have cat inside image folder, and then our image folder is inside our assets folder. So that's what you have to say. Dot slash to go outside first, then go inside assets, then inside image, and then look for cat.png. So that's just basically, before, when you have your image outside, you don't have to go through asset anymore. Just go straight inside the image. But in this case, you have to do this. And then this is the best you can have. This is basically the best you can have. The structure, assets, CSS, JS, and then your pages. So some persons, like what my guy is saying, having I would never recommend that, having pages like this. I would never recommend this for HTML and CSS as far as they're using GitHub pages, because GitHub pages will always look for index of HTML first, right? To always look for index of HTML, and we always look for it outside any folder. It won't look for index of HTML inside the folder. So this is what you can still have, right? You have your index outside like this. Your index must always be outside any folder, because if it is inside a folder, then when you're about to host your page with GitHub pages, then you're going to be getting page error or no page found because it's not seeing the index, right? So you have to put your index outside of any folder, and then you can now have other pages about service and then every other page inside this page. But why should you have it this way? Because already this is the page too. So if you're having pages, then you should have this index here. But because you cannot have index there, then it does not make any sense for you to have pages and all of this inside pages. So just carry everything and put it outside. So we can now know that, okay, as soon as I'm entering your repository and I'm seeing your route, right? I'm seeing your directory, then I'll know that, okay, these ones are the pages which are not inside any folder. So that's just basically it, right? Although if you do it this way, it will still work. By the time you get to React will use pages. React Native also uses pages. Most of the frameworks, they use pages like that. Some uses screen, some uses pages. So if you create a folder for screen also, you're going to get an icon. This icon now is just, you can see screen and pages are using the same icon. So you can either use screen or use pages for your pages or your screen. So, and then we have components. That's another folder where you have some different, let's say you have a different component that you have this particular page or this particular section, both on your landing page and on your about page and on your service page. You don't want to be repeating yourself. So you just create a file inside this place and build your whatever function or whatever section you have common in all pages here. Then you can now link that one and into your index, into your about us, and then your service. But all of these things are just an advanced way. So we don't need to go to all of those ones yet. For now, let's just focus on our basic folder structure, which is the assets. You can have that, although you can still go and use your image if you don't want to go to assets. But then you can still have assets, you can have CSS folder, JS folder, and your pages outside any folder. So that's it. I'm coming. I'm seeing ants. I'll take that very soon. Okay, so yeah. All right. Let's save this. Let me remove this. This is not true. Okay, that has been answered. Let me see the answer. Okay, Sammy, you have your hands raised.
Good morning.
Morning.
Please, sorry, I'm lost.
You are lost.
I was distracted, so I didn't get this full access to.
Okay. All right. Next, I'll attend to that. George.
Okay, boss, please, can you show me if the landing page is index of HTML, how do I link the index of HTML to the about.html? Can you just show me? I think I can link the CSS, but how do I link the index.html to the about.html and the service.html?
Okay. Well, I think I have a video on that already, but I just was not so. I didn't focus on it. I'll just show you that. I'll just spend like 5 minutes doing that. I don't want to waste time on this anymore because I'll show it. I'll show it. Okay. Gospel.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
My question is, what exactly is inside the asset?
Did you join us late?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you
joined it for this.
joined us late. Okay. Okay. So
I
I
just,
don't
I
like.
just want to know, is it images or what?
Okay. Just listen. I will explain that again. Someone asked a question also. So just follow. Okay.
Thank
All right. I said we inside our asset. We can have image from what I have already. I created an asset folder. Then I'm having my image, icons, and font. Anything asset. Asset means something you own, right? Something you can use to get to something, or something you can use to um maybe, for example, font. Font is an asset that you get from Google Fonts. You download it. Remember, I was saying that okay, previously, or what we have been doing so far is we are using CDN because I mentioned that I don't really like downloading assets from a library. When you download a font from Google Fonts, then you're downloading an asset. So it is that font that's in that file that you downloaded, you put it inside your font folder. And your font folder is inside asset. Remember, what if let's assume we don't have an asset now, we want to have font, icon, and image outside. It's going to look too rampant, right? So instead of that, we created an asset folder and then create another folder inside the asset folder, which is called the font folder. So any font you are using, if you are using Montessori, if you are using Playfair or anything, and we download it, remember, if you choose to download the font and then you get the files, you have to put the file inside the font folder. If you download icons from Bootstrap icon or from font also, those icon files should be pasted or should be fixed inside the icon folder, as well as images should also be fixed inside image folder. So that's assets is just the stuff that you get from an external resources, basically. Even if you want to use, for example, you want to use Bootstrap, you can also download Bootstrap entirely. You download Bootstrap, that's an asset. So you can just create a new folder inside this place, I just call it style, or let's say library, CSS library, just like this, or anything, right? Let's name it styles, because this Bootstrap is used for styling. So I can now place my Bootstrap styling inside this place. All right. So that's just basically how it works. Assets is just what you have or what you downloaded, what you get from an external resource that you want to use inside your project. So that's the asset. Although, like I said, you can do without this. You can just, let's assume we don't have asset. Just imagine there's no asset there. You can go ahead and create your image. Just go ahead and create your image folder and then put all your images here, as easy as that. There's no problem with that. If you do that, you are very good to go also. Just remember that you are not going to be linking inside asset anymore. Just the previous thing that I've been using, dash dot slash image slash then our image name. So that's what it's going to be But then in the case where you have to use other assets like icons, like fonts, then it is best for you to create an asset folder, and then inside the asset you now create your font folder, and then your icon folder and your image folder, so that you can copy everything inside the image folder. And then remember, I said if you are if you are to link anything inside your image, for example, I created cat.png, this is an image inside my image folder, and I want to link it from my index.html. So I'll just say img, right? So remember before, if we have image outside, let me just create an image folder outside img. Then inside this img, I have, let me create a file. Inside I have dog.jpg, right? This is not correct though, but it's just as an example of image. So I want to link this image. This is what we are doing before we talked about assets. So you just do ./img, right? And then your dog. You are good to go. But in the case where you have your image inside your asset folder, if your image is not outside on its own, it is inside an asset folder, then you have to do it this way. / instead of that /image, it's going to be /asset, right? /img, because your image folder is inside your asset folder and your cat is inside your image folder. So this is it. The first thing is I need cat. So where is cat located? Cat is located inside an image folder, right? And then where is image folder located? Image folder is located inside asset folder. So that's just basically the routing. And the same thing when you want to use this font, when you are using font and you want to use it in your page, and you need to call it. So you just do the same thing, /asset/font and /cat.png. So that's how it works. That's just the idea of asset. Like I said, it's just me introducing us to a new. I just mentioned it. I don't know how I even mentioned it. I think I was explaining something earlier, so I mentioned it, and I have to just say, okay, let me just use it instead of me trying to jump over or skip it again. So I don't know if Sammy is okay with that, right? It's just a folder. There's nothing wrong. It's nothing special, anything. It's just a simple folder that you can put other folders inside. Sammy and Gospel, are we okay with that? If you're not okay, just let me know. Okay. Gospel, are you good?
Sir, it's fine. I just wanted to know that assets. But in some websites, you see they'll have videos there to
Yeah,
music. So
exactly.
I wanted to confirm
Just,
if it's just image that will be there.
no. It's just not just image. Anything that you can use, anything that may looks like a media. You can have media, even inside assets, you can have media where you have your video, your content, your text, your music, or anything. So that's just assets is just everything.
Okay.
So yeah. All right. I think we are good on that. And to link, I'm currently on my index, right? Let me open this first. Open this. All right. So we have intro to JS. Remove this guy. Before this, I should have my header. Right. Let me copy bootstrap header. So that'll be too far. Let me just create my header. Okay. So inside the header, I will have navigation. So inside my navigation, I have UL. Then inside my UL, I have LI. So I have anchor tag. Remember, so I will use my anchor tag with an href, right? So let me just multiply this. I need for about us, sorry, home. That's the first thing. The second one, about. And then the third one, contact. Right. So now this is the link. Remember, we created about home and services. Sorry, let's use services since I'm using services. If I should save this now, let me just style it. Let me style it. Style. It should be display flex. Right. And then let me just give specify content. Justify content. Is it justify content? Justify content. What's this? Just save this one first. Let me do this option. Down. Display flex. Okay. All right. So let me just give this a new gap. Column gap. Or just normal gap. What you think so? Okay. So currently we have our list item, which is home, about, and services. This thing should be at the end, Sha. It could be at the end, and then you have your logo here. This one will now be at the end here, but however you want to have it. So now I want to link this one, this about, to my about.html. Let's go to about. We don't have anything here, so let's create our normal structure. This, and then just put h1 and put about us. Right, save it. Go to your services also, create this, right? Then put your h1 services. But remember, we should have header in everything. So you can just copy the header you have inside your index, paste it inside your about, and also paste it inside your services. Now save everything so that when you get to your about, you can always link back to your home, and you can link from anywhere to anywhere. Now let's do this. I think I'm supposed to even give this first. So we have index. Remember, home is always index.html. This should be about.html, and then this should be services.html. Save it. Go to the index. Do the same thing. Index.html, about.html, services.html. Save it. Go to about and do the same thing. Index.html, about.html, services.html. Save it. Now let's see what we have now. I can click on about, and then it should take me to about. This is about us. This is a different page. If I click on service, remember the header is still the same. I have the same header I have inside my about. I have it inside my services. If I click on services now, I should go to services. This is about, and then this is home page. So that's just basically what I want. Your home page with about 4 sections. The about page could be 1 or 2 sections, but ensure that you have your footer and everything. When you have your index, let's say you have your footer like this inside your index, footer, right? And then inside your footer, you have h1 footer, right? You can just copy whatever you have here, copy it, because your footer should be the same thing. Copy your footer and put it here. Save it. Put your services also. Your footer, put it there, save it. So when you click on this, when you click on about, you still get the same footer. The only thing that will be changing is the inside, which will be anything you have in between. So your header and your footer remains the same, while the in between will be changing as you are navigating. So I hope that was okay, George. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
All right. All right. So now let's just focus on what we are doing today. So I'm going to ask you questions, and then I want us to respond promptly. Let's start with, okay, let's start by using our Poker so that we can see everything right here instead of going to our terminal. So let me open Poker. All right. Then launch the interactive demo. And then, okay, so I'm going to type something, and then I'll ask for what is going to be the output of whatever I type. So let me say, let's class rep is equal to John Doe, right? So okay, first thing, what do they call this type of variable writing? This I was able to write this in class rep. I It's not it's not all capital letter, it's not all small letter, it's not. So what do you think they call this? What do you think they call
Camel case.
camel case? Thank you very much for that. Okay, okay, you don't have to raise your hand. I see someone was trying to raise hand. I think that's George, Gospel. So just say it, right? Then I'll get. All right. So if I should console the log class rep now, what should I get?
Don't do.
John Doe. Thank you. So then let's assume I want to do this. Let's assume I'm doing this. Let's new class rep be equals to Messi, right? And then this thing is giving us expo. Giving us expo. No. Let me go and cancel it. Let me use my app. It's giving us expo. Okay. Let's new rep be equals to Messi, right? And then console. If I console the log new rep, what should I get here, guys? If I console the log new rep, what should I get?
Error.
Error. Why do you think I will get an error?
Wait, because Messi is a string and you have not put it in, I think, hyphens. Maybe hyphens or brace.
Yeah. You're very correct. So currently it's not defined. Thank you very much. For now, this Messi is being seen as a variable because anything that is a text and is not inside a string, then it's seen as a variable. But then you cannot just console a variable, or you cannot assign a variable to another variable without defining the variable. So instead of that, we have to put our Messi inside a string, then that will make it something that will be readable. So if you console the log Messi in our new rep now, you're going to get Messi, right? So let's use it here. I'll just copy here and then paste it here. So console.log new rep. Then we get Messi, right? So next thing now, let's assume we have something like this. Assume we have let's Ben be equals to 45. Ben is equal to 90. So console.log Ben should give me what, guys? Console.log Ben should give me what?
Is it the capital?
Show the
So,
Ben. Capital Ben.
which Ben are you talking about exactly?
Which of
Console.log
the
1990.
90. That would be
error?
error
90.
Arrow.
90. Okay,
90.
let's if you're for 90, just
Maybe
raise your
90.
90.
Error.
Okay, George said 90. Just raise your hand if you're for 90. So I will know. Jasmine
That is
said
not.
90.
Sir,
Only Jasmine said 90.
sir, no, it is 90
It's 90.
because we are
Okay.
using the let variable, it's not a constant. So it can be initialized.
Okay. So Gospel said 90. Okay, Obioma said 90. So if you are not for 90, so what do you think is going to give us if you're not supporting the 90?
Will give us error.
Error, that's Sammy.
An undefined or error.
It's going to be
Ben,
an error.
undefined. Because Ben is not defined yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's take from Sammy first. Sammy, what do you think we are getting?
The Ben is undefined yet. Because
Yeah,
the other Ben
yeah.
is capital letter. Where this one is a small letter.
Yes, undefined.
So what should we undefined? Okay,
We need to let this Ben to get 90.
okay. Thank you very much. Well, I think Gospel did not see that this. I don't know, maybe you saw it or you missed it. This is a capital letter.
Big Ben,
And
yeah.
if you check, VS Code actually helps us a lot. He's already telling us that this guy cannot, like, did you mean Ben? He's saying could not find name Ben because name has not been declared. So he's going to tell you this is an error. It's not even undefined. It's going to tell you error that Ben has not been defined. So where is our this thing? Okay.
But you already said let's. Oh, okay. So it's just capital letter Ben that you said B45.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
does.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay. I just
exactly.
saw it.
So now let's go to Ben now. We get our 45. Although the way Quokka works sometimes, or the way JavaScript sometimes works, even if it's not initialized, right, it's going to still want to like see it, right? It's going to see this Ben. Although this is very, very wrong. When you put it inside your function, or you want to run it as a code, or you want to use that some of your variable, then it's going to like throw an error. But for now, because okay, Ben is equals to 19, this Quokka will just see it as okay, let's just give Ben as 90, even if you did not declare it, right? But then the VS Code is telling you that this could not find a name Ben, right? So what we need to do is just to say let Ben be equals to 90, and then we are good to go. So that's just all of these things. Let's remove everything, and then let's try this one that they gave us last week. They say const, sorry, var my name equals to Sheriff, right? And then let me say var my name first. Okay, so I cannot reinitialize. Then do this. Remember to always put your semicolon. And I'll now say my name is now equals to my name plus this. And I'll now say range. So if I should console.log this now, console.log my name, what should I get?
Sheriff Wahid.
Yeah, refresh. Let's say this JavaScript it's more like it's simple for you guys. Okay, so you're going to get Sheriff run because I already have Sheriff. Okay, if I console.log Sheriff, yeah, my name here, what should I get? This line says
You
console.log
get Sheriff.
Sharif, only Sharif.
Sheriff because initially my name is Sheriff, and then after line 8, which my name is now equals to my name. It's just normal mathematics. All this thing is just normal mathematics. When you say okay, A equals to 2 first, and then A is now equals to that, you are initializing, re-initializing A with a different variable. All right, oh sorry, different value. Now let's go to the next thing. Let's see what we have today. I think that's basically what we did all last week. Yeah, let's go to JavaScript, and then it said explore differences. We finished from understanding the case sensitivity and all that last week. So here we have explore differences between var and let keyword. Although I don't want us to do this. Let and var mostly do the same thing, but right now we have to use let instead of using var. But still, let's see what they say about the differences. One of the biggest problems with declaring variables with the var keyword is that you can easily overwrite variable declaration. If you have var compare equals to James, var compare equals to David, consider log compare. In this code, in the code above, the compare variable is originally declared as James and is then overridden to be David. The console then display the string David. In a small application, you might not run into this type of problem, but as your code base becomes larger, you might accidentally override a variable that you did not intend to. So, okay, I think basically with var, you can have two variables for two names, for different names. So JavaScript is going to pick the last one, which is not so good from what they said. They said if you have a small application, that might not be a problem for you. But then when your code base is getting bigger and larger, then it's possible that you've declared one variable somewhere before that you call it, maybe you call it username, right? And then later in the future, let's say like 2 years after, you've forgotten that you have username somewhere. So you mistakenly call var again and then username, you now use another name. That first username will be, if that one has been used for a lot of application, then the new one that you use now is going to make that one have an error. So it's going to be replaced by the new one, which will be very, very wrong. So that's what var does. It doesn't check that, okay, this thing has been declared before. It just allows you to declare it again. But with let will not allow you to declare it again, right? It's going to tell you that, okay, this thing has been done before previously, so you cannot use the same variable name again. So let's just go on. In it, they said a keyword called let was introduced in ES6. ES6 is also just an advance, just a way to make JavaScript better. So a major update to JavaScript to solve this potential issue with var keyword. You will learn about ES6 later. If you replace var with let in this code, its result is an error. So this one now, will tell you that, okay, let camper equals to James, let camper equals to David, to tell you that camper has already been declared. So you cannot use camper again as a variable. So let's see that now. We have, let's use var first. Var my name equals to simple, right? And then var my name equals to gospel, right? So this is going to work fine. But then when we use let our name be equals to Ola, and then let our name be equals to Shola, Shile. So you can see the difference now. Now it's telling us that this let is telling us that this has already been declared. Cannot redeclare block scope variable our name because it has already been declared before. While var, we just leave it like that. It does not throw any error. That means if you console.log var outside now, although it's going to pick the latest one that you declared, console.log my name will now pick the latest why is this thing not showing? Okay, because of the error now it's not showing. So let me just comment this. Now we have gospel. It's not picking simple anymore, it's picking gospel. If you try that with this one, let's try that with our name. It's not even going to work. It's going to say my name is our name. It's not even working already because our name is already throwing error. So we won't be able to get our name here. So that's the difference between var and let. So that's why they had to stop using the var keyword and then they moved to the let keyword. Moving forward, let's just put at the back of our mind that we don't have in any reason to use the var keyword. All right, so let's do this. They say update the code so it uses let keyword. So let's just change this to let. Change this to let, and then run the test. So we're going to go with that. The next challenge: declare a read-only variable with the const keyword. Right now, like I explained, I don't know if I've explained that before. We have three keyword, which is the var, the first one. The second one is let's say var name, var name this, right? Then the second one is the let's this, and then the last one is now the const this. So the first one, if you are using a const, that's what const does. So if you are using var, right, you can redeclare your var. If you are using let, you cannot redeclare your let. If you are using let, let's say you say let my name, then that my name has been used already. You cannot use it again. While const, the only difference is that when you are using let, let's say you use let my name be equals to Ben, for example, you can redeclare or you can change the value of name, or sorry, you can change the value of my name later in the future by doing it this way. You don't use the let anymore, but you can use it like this. My name will now be equals to Tunji, something like this. Remember, we are not using let anymore. We are not declaring it anymore. We already declared my name up. So what we want to do here is just to change the value, and that would be intentional. Because okay, since for us to use this like this, that means we already know that we have declared my name before. So then we want to change the value of my name now to Tunji. So let will allow this. This will work fine with let. But const, when you are declaring const will firstly will not even allow you to have something like this. For every const, you have to have a value. If you say const class rep, you cannot just declare const like this. Const must have a value because it is constant. They call it const because it is constant. So it's something that cannot change. Const class rep equals to, let's say, Sami, for example, right? So now let's say I want to now redeclare, or I want to assign a different class rep to a different value to my class rep later. Now I will now say class rep equal to, let's say, David, right? So I'll get an error here because it's saying assignment to constant variable. That means this class rep is a constant variable and it cannot be reassigned to. As far as constant has already been assigned a value, then that is it forever. You cannot change it anywhere. You cannot manipulate it, or you can do, the only thing you can do is you can change some stores from it or add to it, but you cannot just change the value entirely. You cannot change the value entirely. That's assignment to a constant variable is always constant. So anywhere in your app, mostly they use const for username, right? They use const for username. They so for value that will not change at all. Value that okay, when I'm writing this application, this value is not meant to change. Like a pi, right? Pi will not change for anything, right? Like just let's say you have 100% is the maximum that people can get to in a particular course, and then you just declare it up somewhere up that okay, const cutoff mark equals to 75%. That 75% should not change, and it will not change, right? So you can use const for that one. That's a constant variable that will never change. But anything that you know that okay, let's say this thing, if I declare it in the future, I can still say, okay, I want to change the value anytime later in the future, then I will use what a let keyword for that. So that's the difference between let and const. While var, like we already know, we can reassign another value to var keyword. You can say var my name equals to John, var my name equals to Ola, var my name equals to Peter, and all of that. So are we together? Is something not clear? Are we up to track right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now that's what we are currently. So let's see the next thing. Let's answer this. This is their own task. They said the keyword let is not the only new way to declare variables. In ESCs, you can also declare variables using the const keyword. Const has all the awesome features that let has, with the added bonus that variable declared using const are read only. Read only means you cannot change it. They are a constant value, which means that once a variable is assigned to const, it cannot be reassigned. So like this const var pet equals to cat, var pet equals to dog will throw an error. The console will display an error due to reassigning the value of var pet. So that's that. Now let's go to the challenge. Change the code so that all variables are declared using the let or const. Use let when you want the variable to change and const when you want the variable to remain constant. Also rename variables declared with const to conform to common practices. Do not change the strings assigned to the variable. There is a way, I think const is best to use capital letter. Use capital letter, not camel case for const. Anything const, you use all caps like this. Since this is const, we use class rep, right? So we can use this way. Since it's a constant something, so we use all caps for it, while let could be camel case. So that's what they said here. They said also in the no, they said do not change no. Rename variables declared with const to conform to common practices. So let's try that. Var FCC equals to free KodeCamp. Var fact equals to is cool. Fact equals to is so what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do? Let's say change the code so that
FCC.
So what you're telling us to do is that you just change that is the var FCC to const.
Change it to const, then the SCC change it to capital letter.
Number one will be const capital letter FCC. While number two is let fact.
so I had to like study the code first. They have var. Then third line shows that they are reassigning the fact. So the
You
fact
cannot
that
see
they are
your screen.
Oh, okay, sorry. How did that happen? Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
All right, so now the third line shows that the reassign is awesome to fact. Remember, fact has already been assigned before, but then they reassign. That means if we change this using the const, that means we are wrong because they reassign it. And we are not expected to change this line. Remember, they said change this line, and change the last line. The third one is to remain the way it is. So the only thing we can change to const is this one. So we change this to const. And then we change, const has to be capital or, so we can just change this small f to capital F. And then here we have var, they say we should change it to let since they don't want us to use var anymore. And then we have FCC here, which we've already changed to capital letter. So we have it this way. And then we can now run our tests, see? So that's a success. We've been able to go to the next challenge. Let's see the next challenge, how it looks like. Okay, now we are moving to adding of numbers. Adding numbers is what I would say is what we've known already. I think we did that last week also. Just use the plus to add, use minus to subtract, use slash, / to divide, use asterisk to multiply. So add two numbers to JavaScript is a data type in JavaScript which represents numeric data. Number is a data type in JavaScript which represents numeric data. Now let's try add two numbers in JavaScript. So const my var equals to 5 plus 10. So const sum equals to this. Change the 0 so that sum will equals to 20. So we have const sum equals to 10 plus, what would this be? Are we together? What would 10? Thank you very much. So that's that. So just to add anything in JavaScript, use the plus. It's a simple thing, just the way we have it in mathematics. Use the plus to sum any number. And remember, when you're summing, okay, let's just go to the next thing first. We have 10. Okay, see later. In this one, subtract one number from another with JavaScript. In this case, we are subtracting const difference equals to 45 minus 1 minus 0. Change the 0 so that difference is 12. So for us to have a difference of 12, this should be, what should that be? 32 or 33? Or 33? I think that's 33. Yeah, I think that's 33. So 45 minus 33 will give us 12. So let's see. Okay, nice. That's just to subtract. Then to multiply, we use the asterisk, like I said earlier. So they said change the 0 so that the product will equal 80. So we just change this to 10. 8 times, this is times, 8 times 10 equals 80. Next, we're going to have something to do better so that we can understand it better. So y / is used to divide. If you want to divide two numbers, so change 0 so that the quotient is equal to 2. Now let's do this. This should be 33 because I said it should be equal to 2. 63 divided by 33 should give us 2. Right. Next challenge. Now increment. So while we have, before we go far, while we have, let me remove this. While we have plus, we can also use plus to add two strings. You can say let's add string be equals to Sammy plus Jasmine. Sorry, let me not start that. No problem. Okay, let's add string be equals to Sammy plus gospel. Right, so this is going to work fine because we are using plus. This in this case, it is assumed that you want to join Sammy and gospel together, just like Sammy gospel. So if you console.log add string should give us Sammy gospel. Remember, for us to have a very nice view, add spacebar to this one. But then if you minus here, it's not going to throw any, it's going to throw error because you cannot minus a string from a string. You can only add a string to a string. If you use divide here, it's going to throw an error. This none means not a number. That means Sammy cannot be divided from, gospel cannot be divided from Sammy because Sammy is not a number, while gospel is also not a number. So that's why we are getting this error, not a number, NaN. The same thing for multiply. You cannot multiply a string to a string. All you can do, using the operator with string is just the plus. You can add a string to a string with an operator. So now what they are doing here, there's a way you can increment a number using the plus plus keyword. Plus plus keyword. You can easily increment or add one to a variable with the plus plus operator. So this is it, I plus plus. If you have, for example, you say, let's say I have let's I be equals to 10, for example. If I should console.log I here, console.log I, that will give me 10, right? So I will now say I plus plus here, then console.log I should give me 11 here. I should give me 11 here. As you can see, the first thing we said I equals to 10. So we console.log I, that gives us 10. Well, in the next line, which is line 21, we now say I plus plus means I that is supposed to be 10, I want you to plus plus, add 1 to it. Add just single thing, add 1 to that, the value of I, which is initially 10. Now it's going to give us 10. If I say I plus plus again, yeah, and then I console.log I again, yeah, I'm going to get 12. I'm going to get 12 here. But you cannot have plus plus plus. This is wrong. The only thing you can have is I plus plus plus, just 2 plus plus to increment by 1. Even if it is 100, if you add plus plus, it's only going to increment by 1. So that's just the idea of plus plus. And then, like I said last week, that JavaScript will always in I think is in ascending order or in ascending order. Descending order, okay, from top to bottom. That's how JavaScript works, from top to bottom. You're going to check the first one, then the next one, then the third one, then the next one, the next one, the next one, just like that. Then the final thing before the console is what JavaScript is going to read. So that's why this one is giving us 12 instead of 10, because we've already added one here and then added one here. So you can do the same thing also. You can even say like this. This will keep increasing as far as you're adding one to it. So that's that. Let's see the next thing. Let's see what they have from their own explanation. They said I plus plus is the equivalent of I equals to I plus 1. Let me just explain that. In some cases where, remember, we said we can reassign when you say let's num be equals to 12, right? And then you can now say num equals to num plus 5, right? Console.log has a shortcut, CLG. If you don't want to be writing those things too, CLG is a shortcut for console.log. So just type CLG like this and then num. So you get 17. So in this case, we have let num be equals to 12. That's the first thing. We assigned value 12 to num variable. So we now say, line 30 will now say that num will now be equals, that's giving num a new value will now be the previous num, which was 12, will now be plus 5. If you add it together, will now give us the new value of num. That will be num equals to 17. Now let's see something. Instead of doing this, let's do this one. So they said instead of doing all of this long thing, right, which will now give us 13, we can easily say num plus plus. Instead of doing this one that will give us num equals to num plus 1, we can easily say num plus plus. So that's what they said here, that this is equivalent to I equals to I plus 1. This is equivalent to I equals I plus 1. Note the entire line becomes I plus plus, eliminating the need for the equal sign and the long text. So now let's try this. They said change the code to use plus plus operator on var. So let my var be equal to 7. So we change this to, what do we change this to?
Plus
My
plus.
plus plus.
Plus plus. Thank you very much. So let's run the code now, and then we are good to go. So before we move forward, let's give ourselves something to check. All right. So I have const okay, let me just ask this. I want to get the mean of, let's just say, let's mean be equals to, I have different numbers. let me just use a comment instead. 4, 6, 10, 2. So yeah, I want to get the mean of these values 4, 6, 10, and 2. So what do I do? Let's say I want to get the mean of this text of these numbers now. You guys know mean, median, and mode. How do you arrive at the mean? So I want to get the mean of 4, 6, 10, and 2. To arrive at the mean of a given number is just to sum. Let me not say it. But yeah, how do I get the mean of this 4, 6, 10, and 2?
Some of the numbers divided by the numbers itself. So that's 4 plus 6 plus 10 plus 2 divided by 4.
Yeah.
Okay, now what do I do? What do I do now? That's what I want to know. What do I do?
You call it. You give the number. You first call the numbers. Then we add it up.
I should call the numbers like this.
No, sir.
Let's give it let's say let number be equal to 4 plus 6 plus.
Let num be equals to 4 plus 6, okay, plus
10
plus 2, okay,
plus 2,
okay. Is that okay?
Okay, then let's call.
Okay.
Then let's call maybe say let num2 be equals to 4.
Num2 be equals to what? 4. How do we get the 4?
That's like what we are going to use to divide it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. Why 4?
The total number of numbers there.
Total number of the items you want to divide.
Okay, thank you.
And then we do a quotient. Then we have to do let
result.
I think it's going to be
let result
num4
equals to num slash
num slash 2, right?
Slash
num2, yeah.
Num2, okay. So let's console what we have now.
Console it, let's see.
Console.log.
I will be shocked.
Result 5.5. That's good. That's just the mean. Basically, what I try to do now is just, okay, we have been able to use the addition operator and then the division operator together. But we can actually make this smaller, right? We've been able to achieve our result. Fine. This is very correct. But what if we want to make this very smaller? We don't have to like go through all of this declaring, and declaring. So what do you suggest that we can do? Let's mean be equals to, so I'll open a bracket like this, because remember, everything in the bracket will actually work first. So I'll say open a bracket 4 plus 6 plus 10 plus 2, 10 divided by what? 4. So if I console the log mean, I'll still get my answer. So this is just the short form. Let's mean, because instead of, okay, this is very correct. Like I said, it's very, very correct. So, but then instead of doing all these lanes, you can just say group everything inside the bracket so that it's going to attend to this one first, just like we have BODMAS, right? Bracket first, add these guys first, and then divide the result by 4, which will give us this. So is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, so the same way that we can add using the plus plus, we can also subtract using the minus minus. So just like this, let's sub be equals to 5. Then you can say console, let's CLG sub, right, 5. I'm missing this. Okay, then the next one will say sub minus minus, right? CLG sub, then that will give us 4. So we say sub minus minus again, CLG sub, that will give us 3. So sub minus minus, just it works like plus plus, but plus plus will add, while minus minus will subtract. So all of these things are still simple stuff that we get to know. And then they said instead of using your I equals to I minus 1, remember, you can say instead of doing this minus minus, you can say sub will now be equals to sub minus 1. So still the same thing, but instead of going through this route, this long route, you can just say sub minus minus. So let's do that here. My var minus minus. Next. Create decimal numbers with JavaScript. They said we can store decimal number in variables too. Decimal numbers are sometimes referred to as floating point numbers or floats. When you compute numbers, they are computed with finite precision. Operations using floating points may lead to different results than the desired outcome. If you are getting one of these results, open a topic on the KodeCamp for blah blah all that. Create a variable my decimal and give it a decimal value fraction with a fraction with a fractional part, e.g. 5.7. What is that? Okay, my decimal, only change code below this line. All right. So const my decimal will be equals to 5.7. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can assign decimal values to variables also, not just numbers. You can assign decimal values to variables also. So that one is simple. Next thing. Multiply two decimals with JavaScript. So that's change 0.5 so that the product equals to 5. So 2 multiplied by 2.5. All these things are simple. I don't want to waste our time here. So divide one decimal by another. I said change so that will equal to 2.2. So that this will equal to 2.2. So this should be 4.4. All right, floating a remainder in Java. I think this is where we are going to like talk more. Right now, they said a remainder. Remainder is also another operator in JavaScript that is used to calculate remainder, right? And the sign is this %, right? Let's say we have 4. Let's num, or let's say we have 5 and 2. We want to divide 5 and 2. We divide it normal. Let num be equals to 5 divided by 2. That will give us console.log num will give us 2.5, right? But in this case, a remainder works in a way whereby when you divide 2 by 5, 2 divided by 5 will give us 2 remainder 1. So it is that one that is the remainder. That's the exact thing that we need. We don't need the actual value of the when you divide. We don't need, okay, if you divide 2 by 11, how many times do you divide it? You divide it by 5, then it's going to remainder 1. But we don't need that 5 times when you divide. The only thing we are actually interested in is the remainder. That's the only thing we need. So that's where this modulus come in, right? They call it modulus so that you can just use it to, if you say 5 divided by 5 modulus 2 now will give us 1. That's the remainder. Let num be equals to 5 modulus 2. Then when you divide 2 by 5, when you divide 5 by 2, sorry, how many times or what will remain? What is that value that will remain when you divide 5 by 2? When you divide 11 by 3, what is that value that will remain? 2. See, so I say 3 times 3 times 3, that will give us 9, remainder 2. So when you need a remainder of a given value, you use your modulus. You can use it for big number. Let's say let num be equals to 75 modulus 24, right? So when you divide 75 by 24, it's going to divide 3 times, but then it's going to remainder 3. So that's just basically what remainder is used for. That's another operator that you use. We have operators. Let me just put it here. We have plus operator. We have the minus operator. We have the divide operator. We have the modulus operator, which is the percentage, and it is used to get the remainder of a given value. So the remainder operator gives the remainder of the division of 2 numbers. Example, 5 modulus 2 now will give us 1, because when you divide 5 by 2, you get 2, then remainder 1. So we get that one as a response. So usage in mathematics, a number can be checked to be even or odd by checking the remainder of the division of the number by 2. So if you want to check if a number is even or if a number is odd, remember when a number is even, when you divide it by 2, it's going to give us a 0, right? Okay. Let's say 12 is an even number, right? So if I divide 12 by 2, I will get 6, remainder 0. That means it's an even number. Any odd number will always be remainder 1. Odd number like 11. 2 divided by 11, that will be 5, remainder 1. That means 11 is an odd number. If I want to get odd number, I want to ask if, okay, is 30 even number or odd number? I can just say 30 modulus 2. Then if the result is 0, then I will get, okay, that means 30 is an even number. But if the result is equals to 1, then 30 is an odd number. So for us to get odd number, we use the modulus odd or even. You can just say const odd or check odd. Check odd will be equals to let's use 67, then modulus of 2. Remember, it always has to be 2. So CLG. So if the result here is equal to 1, then this number is odd. But then if the result is equal to 0, then the number is even. So we say check odd. Okay, so that means our 67 equals to is odd number. Sometimes you can even say let or const num. That means you want to declare the number you want to check first. Const num equals to 67, right? After declaring this number, like I think I've used num before, num b, then you can now say here will now be num const num b equals to 67. You're declaring the number first and you're assigning 67 to the num b, right? And then I want to check if num b is odd number or even number, right? Okay, sorry, this is num b.
You write num b.
Yeah, thank you. So we have const. Now check if num b is odd. So for us to check for odd and even number, we just do modulus of 2. That means the number divided by 2. Not just divide the modulus so that you can get the remainder. If the remainder is 1, it is odd. If it is 0, then it is even. Let's try it with 66. This will give us a 0, then it's an even number. So let's go to set remainder equal to the remainder of 11 divided by 3 using the remainder operator. Equals to 11 divided by 3. So let's say 11 divided by 3. That's it. Okay. All right. So the next one, I want us to just get to a point where we can work with this very well. So we can call it a day. The next one is compound assignment with augmented addition. I think we've done this before. Okay, we have not. All right. Now, this in programming, it is common to use assignment to modify the content of a variable. Remember that everything to the right of the equal sign is evaluated first. So we can say var my var equals to my var plus 5. Another way that you can add something is JavaScript sometimes try to make everything easier for us. If we realize, okay, I think this thing is getting so much complicated now, how do we make it easier for ourselves? So they always come up with an idea or a new method that you can use to achieve something. So let's assume we have num, num, do I have num before? No. Let num be equals to 50, right? Now I want to now make num to be 16. This when you need to use this is just basically maybe you have a commerce website, right? And then user can just go to the website and say, okay, I want to buy this item. When you click on the item, say I want this item, then you get one of the items, right? So let's say on click, let me just put it, click of an item, and the cost of that item is 20. Item cost of item is 20. Cost of item is equal to 20 naira, for example. And then the total number of items, that means we have about 10 items there. Number of item is equal to, let's say 4. We can only add 4 items, right? So now we want to create a function that when a user goes to our website and then he clicks on this item that, okay, I want to buy this item first, then it opens the item for us to, okay, you've selected one item that you want to get. So in that case, we say let selected item be equals to, that's the first thing, selected item be equals to the first, okay, selected item cost, sorry. That's when I click on it for the first time, then I'm clicking, okay, I want to buy one item. So that's 20 for the first time, right? So now subsequently on click on add, when you get to Jumia, you can actually add item. So after, okay, I need 2 or 3 of this item, I don't want just one. So on click now, you can now say selected item cost will now be equals to, on click, for every time the user clicks, they get +1 of the item. So sorry, plus the cost of the item. That will now be selected items plus 20. You can even say, you can just say it this way, let cost of item const, because this one will not change, cost of item be equals to 20 naira. This is the cost of item, right? This way, cost of item. So cost of item equals to 20 naira. And then selected item cost now. Okay. What should I do? Let's do it this way. Selected item, right? So from the initial, user just come and then select an item. Bam. They have not choose, maybe they want 1 or 2, right? So that's what we did here. So from the initial, our selected item is just undefined because we do not have anything yet. So for every time user clicks to add one, we want to add cost of item to the selected items. So we are going to have here cost of item. So when the user clicks, now selected item, which is initially undefined, will now be equals to selected item plus cost of item. Selected item plus cost of item. Hello, are we there? Are we there together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just
but you just define the selected item cost as 0.
yes,
So
from
no
the
matter what
initial,
we
it's
add here,
always
it's
0. From the initial, it's going to be 0 because we don't have anything yet. Your cart
yes, but
is going to be 0. Okay.
yes,
Say what
but
you
the
want to say.
selected item cost is now equal to 0 plus cost of item, which means it will always be 20.
No, it will not always be 20. From the first click, let's say user click the first one, bam, right? That means, okay, I open that item. I have not added it at all. I just open it. So I get my selected item at that point to be equal to 0, right? And then we already know that one item will cost 20. That's why we declared it on line 20. So on click, this is before click. This is after click. On click of 1, that means click 1 like this. Then you want to add cost of the item to the selected item cost. So at that point, our selected item will be what here? If you say console.log clg selected item here, item cost. At this point will be equals to 20. That means the first click, the selected item cost will now be equals to 20. You've added the cost of item to the selected item. Now, let's say the user don't want to stop at 1. I want to click again to add another one, making it 2. I will now say selected item again, right? Yeah, selected item again will now be equals to selected item plus. So for every time user is clicking, I'll be adding, let me put this one, click 2. On click 2. So this is how it works now. The first time I visit the website and I selected an item that, okay, I want this item, but I've not selected the number of items that, okay, you have to select, like if you guys buy stuff on Jumia very well, when you want to add to a cart, they'll pop up a border that, okay, +1 or +2, you just have to, you click on plus to add one item that, okay, I want one item. So when you click on the item at the first time, you get selected item to be equals to 0. That's by default. By default, your selected item cost is 0, right? So now moving forward, user decided to click, I want one of these first, right? You don't know the user's mind. You don't know if the user wants to click up to 6 or 7. So you cannot just say multiply by 7 once because you don't know their mind. So you have to click adding for every time the user clicks. You keep adding for every time they click, right? So now this is what we do here. the first click of the user, then we are adding selected item, which is 0 initially. It's now equals to selected item plus the cost item. We don't even know. It's possible that this one is 0.4. It's possible that this one is 10. That's why we have to call it first before we now add it, right? But then initially it's 0. So we're now calling the 0 first, then we add the 20 to it. Now that's the first click. At that point, select item will now be equal to 20. Do you have a question?
Sir, this code now, is it starting from const or is there something in front?
No, there's none. Nothing is there. Let me just move on a bit. So this is where it starts from.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing is we assume, okay, I think I said num of item. Let me just put const. Although that one is pure JavaScript stuff. Num of items equals to 4, for example. Right? So now we have number of item in the cart, sorry, in the store is 4. Then the cost of each of this item is 20. And for a user, before you even select anything by default, every user will have selected item cost of 0. So now when a user clicks to add one of these items, we add what? 20, which is cost of item, to the selected item, which is 0 initially. Then on line 11, we get 20, because at that point, selected item is now 20. So now user decides to click again. Remember, our selected item is now 20 after line 11. So a user decides to click again. We're now assigning the new value, right? We're now assigning another cost of item to the old value of selected item, which is 20. Now, new selected value of item will now be equals to 20, which is here, plus 20. That will give us 40. So if we keep doing that, okay, next time user clicks again, so we get plus 20. We keep getting plus 20 and keep getting plus 20. So for every time the user clicks, you add 20 to their cost. For every time they click, you add 20 to their cost. But then I don't want to be repeating myself like this. I don't want to be writing this thing too much. I don't have to repeat selected item, and all of that consecutively or repeatedly like that. It's kind of like stressful. Instead of doing this, I can just say selected item plus or equals to cost of item. Just like this. Plus or equals to cost of item. This is the same thing as this. So this means selected item plus or equals to cost of item. That means I want you to pick yourself first. Pick yourself first and then add yourself to the cost of item that is just coming. Plus or equals to is the same thing as equals to plus. You can see here we have selected item equals to and then plus. So instead of having it this way, they decided to join the plus and the equals together to give us plus or equals to cost of item. Let's try that and see if it's still giving us the same thing. Yeah, it is. Plus or equals to. So instead of having selected item equals to selected item plus cost of item, which is too long, you can just say selected item plus or equal to, means that plus, then add plus or equals to means you plus and then you sum yourself 20 here, then add cost of item to the initial value of yourself, right? First of all, selected item, add this thing, and then make yourself, reassign yourself to the sum of the selected item and the cost of item. Let's see what they have here, what they say here. So they said to add 5 to my var, since this is such a common pattern, there are operators which do both a mathematical operator and assignment in one step. Both the mathematical operator and the assignment operator, they do both in one step. So because equals to is an assignment, right? Y plus is a mathematical addition operator. So for us to be able to join equals to and plus together, we use the plus equal to operator. So now this is it. Let my var be equals to 1. My var plus or equals to 5 will now give us my var equals to my var plus 5. My var equals to my var plus 5. But instead of us repeating ourselves like this, we just join the two because they said this one, we join this and this together to give us whatever it is that we need to have. Are we making any sense? Are we not lost?
I'm sorry, I'm lost. I don't understand. My network went off.
Okay. Who else?
I understand, sir.
Well, I'm lost too. I want to know what if the user clicks on the selected item, then wants to remove it, you know? I don't know if you get, because there are sometimes when someone will select an item, then it will be like, okay, this is above my budget and I want to remove some
Yeah.
to subtract. So I don't know if you get.
Yes. It's simple. Just the way you added, you just have to subtract. Now we have, let's say we've been able to get to 60 right now, and then user realize that, oh, I only have 40 naira with me. I can't afford 60, right? Instead of adding like this, just minus. It's as simple as that. Instead of, okay, now on click of the fourth one, on click on the fourth time. So user decides to click minus instead of adding this time now. So I want to remove, I don't want to add anymore. In this case, I will now say selected item equals to selected item cost minus. So this one will now first of all check for the previous item cost, which is what, 60. Then minus the cost of item. The cost of item is a constant. It is always 20 from up. Even if you are done with all of this, you go like line 800 and something, and you call cost of item, it will still come back up and pick this 20 as the cost of item. So cost of item will always remain 20. So you minus it from the cost of item, which is 20, and then it will give us 40. And if you want to use this our method, which is the best method, so you just say plus equals to cost item, right? So for you to use minus, it's going to be what? Minus equals to cost item. As simple as that. Minus equal to. So this will give you the same thing. Plus equal to, minus equal to. At the same time, you can say divide equal to, right? You can say multiply equal to. So this is just, instead of you saying cost of item equals to selected item cost multiplied by cost of item, or divided by cost of item, right? You can just join the two together and it will give us divide equal to cost of item, or multiply equals to cost of item. The person, Chineye, is this okay now? Is this clear now?
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Right. So the person that said network, let me get, where do you understand the idea of, do you understand how we add numbers, how we subtract numbers, and how we divide numbers? I don't know the person that said a network went off. Who is the person, please?
Yeah, my network went off when you were talking about the number of items on the constant number of items and but
Okay. This is just basically, we're just trying to explain to ourselves how you add numbers to a given variable, then how you subtract, how you divide and multiply, and how to shorten it, how to shorten the code. Instead of having a very long code, how to make it very easy and a short code. So the first thing we decided that, okay, a user visited, okay, for example, let's say me, myself, I opened jumia.com. I want to add items to my cart. So I want to make orders or something like that. So I see a Nike shoe and then I clicked on it, right? The first click is, okay, I want to see this item, right? And then I can now decide to add to cart. So when you're adding to cart on Jumia, if you click on add to cart, you get a modal that says add an item. Let me show us that. Let's just do that now. Jumia. Stop. So, Jumia. Oh, we have less than 20 minutes. This thing is taking forever. Okay, so let me open my cart, or not even my cart. Let me remove this one first. Just remove this and save for later. Okay, so let's go back home. All right, so I have, for example, let's say I want to buy an iPhone. So I click on phones and tablet and I choose, let me select one iPhone. Let me select this Xiaomi. Let's just select Xiaomi. I've selected Xiaomi right now. So by default, my selected cost of item cost is what? Is 0. because I've not added any item to cart. So automatically, Jumia will just assign a 0 first for me, that okay, item that you've selected is 0. Then we say that okay, let's say cost of item, this is 8 units left. That means the cost of item, the number of items that is left is what? 8. Let's assume that 8. Number of item left is 8, right? And then cost of each of this item is now what? 315,000. So that's what we're going to have here, right? So let's do that. 315,000, right? So now when I click, anytime I click on, let me click on add to cart now, you will get a modal that will show that, okay, do you want to add 2 or 3, or how many do you want to add? Let me just see. Okay, this is not adding it like that actually. No. Okay, look at it here. This is what I want to get. Now I've been able to add 1 item to my cart. So if I enter my cart now and I see, okay, I think the total for now should be what? 315, which is what we have initially. So let me do that. Okay, after adding 1 item to cart now, I have 315,000 here. And this is how I was able to do this. I added selected item equal to selected item plus cost of item. Selected item, which is initially 0, right, is now equals to the previous selected item, which is 0, plus cost of item, which is 315,000. Then I get 315,000 first for the selected item. Now, when I click on the second one, I click again, I want 2 of this item. Right now, this is 2. So on click on the second one, okay, I want 2 of this item. I will now say selected item will now be equals to selected cost item cost plus cost of item. This now will now say, okay, in this part, in this line 14, on this line 14, yeah, selected item is what? 315. This one here is 315 because this is the previous, we've added 315 already on line 9. So in this part, we have 315 as our selected item, right? So line 14 now means I want to add another item to my selected item. So I will now say selected item cost will now be equals to 315 plus, what is the cost of item? 315, cost of item. And that will give us what? 630,000. So, okay, I don't want to stop there. I want to go again. So I click on it again. I click on add again to make it 3. Then when I click on it again, on click third one, right? I will now say, okay, at this point, my selected item is what? 630,000. So after clicking one more, that means I should be adding my cost of item, which is 330 to the 630,000, and that will give us the new selected item. Remember, we are assigning, you are just reassigning a new value to the old selected item. So that's why we have selected item cost will now be equals to the previous selected item cost, which is 630,000, plus the new, the default selected item, which is 315. So now we will now have 945,000. All of these things is just trying to explain to ourselves how we can use plus and equals to plus and reassign an old value to a new, just old value of an old variable to a new, with a new number of the old variable. So basically, we have selected item as what we want to cash out. Our final, this thing is still going to be selected item. So we are just updating our selected item. For every time the user clicks, we are updating our selected item cost. Every time they clicks, we are updating selected item cost every time they clicks. And then if you decide that, okay, I don't want to add anymore, I think my money is too much, I want to remove, right? So now, at this point, selected item is what? 630,000 at this point. So I checked my account. Okay, I think I can afford up to 2. I can only buy 1 of this phone. So what do? I will just say selected item equals to the previous item, this previous cost, which is 630, minus, now we have minus here, minus the cost of item. You want to remove 1 item from the previous selected item, right? So you just do selected item cost equals to what you already have, which is 630, selected item cost, minus the actual cost of item, which is 330. And that will give us what? 315. So the same thing is applicable when you want to say, okay, you want to use multiply. You want to multiply, you just change this to multiply, you get this. You want to divide, you change this to divide, you get this. So that's how the whole thing works. It's very, very simple, all of that. So, but then after doing all of this, we say, I don't want to go this far. I don't want to be writing all of this thing repeatedly. How can I make it easier for myself? So they introduce the plus equals to operator or minus equals to operator, which is what we used. So instead of saying selected item equals to selected item plus cost of item, we can just remove all of this and say plus equals to cost of item. Do the same thing for this one. Plus equals to, that means plus. Firstly, plus yourself, add the previous selected item. So this selected item is now seeing itself as a new selected item cost and the previous selected item. So it's going to undo the previous first by adding first. Add this to this first. And now reassign yourself. That's why we have the plus first. That means add first. Add 313 to the cost of item first. After adding it, now reassign yourself using the equals to the selected item cost. So the same thing for the divide, you can just do it this way. Divide equals to, right? That is just the same thing. And also you can do the same thing as multiply equals to, divide equals to, minus equals to also. You can do the same thing, minus equals to, right? So that's just how it works. Instead of having that long text, just group it to one and then use plus equals to, minus equals to, and divide equals to. So are we all together?
Yes,
we
thank
all
you. Yes.
All right. Okay, that's a lot. All right, now let's say convert the assignment for A, B, and C and use the plus equals to operator. So they said we should use plus equals to for this one instead of using this like this. So we just say, please, can someone tell me what to do here? Tell me what to do. I want to change this one on line 7. Can someone just tell me what to do? I want to use the plus equals to operator instead of this.
A plus equals
A plus equals to 12. Thank you. As simple as that. It's very easy. So let's remove this. Then this one will be B plus equals to 9. It's the same thing, though. 9 plus B. So plus equals to 9. And then C plus equals to 7. Plus equals to 7. So let's run a test. And then we get this. Submit and go to the next challenge. All right, this is the same thing also. So I'll just keep this one. This one is just changing to minus to plus, just minus, the one we've explained earlier. So let me go to curriculum. I don't want to waste my time on that one. So we have assignment augment. Okay, escaping literal code, focus on the single code. Okay. Okay, I think we've done all of this. We can just with plus equal operator. Okay, constructing string with variable. Appending variables to a string. We've done this also. Let's go back. I don't want to waste time on this one. Divide, concatenate to plus operator, find length, append variables to string. Okay, I think we're going to stop here for today. Yeah, we'll stop here. So next week we are going to start with find length, right? We're going to start with find the length of a string, and then we are going to talk about using arrays, objects, and some other advanced JavaScript. So for now, we are going to stop here. This is what we are currently appending variables to strings. So let's just use that. I think we've done that already still. They said, just as we can build a string over multiple lines out of a single string letter, we can also append variables to a string using the plus equals operator. So they said const an adjective equals to awesome. Let's our string be equals to free KodeCamp is. So our string plus or equals to adjective will give us free KodeCamp plus or equals to, that's just it. So this is basically it. Const some adjective equals to this empty string. Set some adjective to a string at least 3 characters and append it to my string. So let's say learning to code is awesome also. So we set awesome to adjective. We're now adding let my string be equals to learning to code is. So we want to add this adjective, some adjective to my string. So we just do my str plus or equals to. I don't want to, if I say my str equals to some adjective, it's going to replace my str and give me, okay, let me just do that. So I don't have to talk too much. So let's say console.log my str. This will give me awesome because it's now replacing, is reassigning awesome to my str, replacing learning to code. But we don't want it to replace learning to code is, we want it to add awesome to learning to code. So in that case, we just put plus or equals to here. Plus or equals to means don't replace it, just add, keep whatever it is inside my string before, and then add whatever you are bringing from my some adjective, add it to what was inside my string previously. So my str is now plus or equals to, or plus and equals to some adjective. So console.log my str will now give us learning to code is awesome. Learning to code is awesome. So that's all for today. I want us to keep just don't you don't have to like stay where I am currently. Try as much as possible to see what you can do about the chat. The ones I skip, you can still go there. Although we've talked about it before, that's why I decided not to do anything. Right, but you can still go back to this place and see what you can do about all of this. Anyone you're not sure, or you see, okay, I think this place I cannot go for that, just you can relax on there, and then maybe next week next week I'm going to skip a lot of things. I'm going to skip a lot of things so that we can see how we can move forward and get to this shopping list so we can do something meaningful, right? So thank you very much. If there are any questions or any concerns or anything you're not clear with, just feel free to ask your question now. We have just 5 minutes to go. Ask your questions now. Ask your question. And raise your hand, signify to ask a question. Okay, Joy. Joy.
Okay, please, what if the name you're giving to this selected item cost changes? Since it's recursive, does it mean it cannot change throughout the writing of the code? It has to remain selected item cost since you're giving it, you are assigned it a variable, right? So
Yeah.
it has to remain selected item cost. It cannot change.
No, it should not change. It can if you want it to change, which is going to cause error to your code, or it may not even be error. It's going to cause a lot of damage to your code. But it should not change because right now,
Okay.
if I should say, yeah, it should not change because what we want to keep updating is just like you trying to update one part. For example, you have a box, right? And then you're dropping an orange inside that box every time. You keep dropping one. Today you drop one, that's one. Tomorrow, by Monday, or let's say in 7 weeks' time, you have 7 oranges there. So if you now say, okay, I want to change the box now. Changing the box means changing the variable name, right? Changing the box now,
Yeah.
okay, I change the box and okay, I want to throw my orange inside another box. That means you start from where? From the beginning. You start counting again from one. And initially, your previous box already have about 7 oranges. So when you change the variable name, that means you are starting all over, and then it's going to pick its own afresh and start from what? From one. So the same thing is applicable here. If you change the selected course, even if it is by S somewhere, if this is by S somewhere, already it's going to throw error. Why? It's going to throw error because it's not defined. So, and then even if it does not throw error, this is not going to see the old selected course. Although, let's now assume that, okay, I think I get what you're trying to say now. Let's assume that, okay, it is arranged that when the user add everything finished to their selected course, I'm done adding now. Okay, let's say I've added, and at the end, I now want to add the final figure to another thing. You can do that. Let's say, okay, I've added, and I'm able to get, let's use add again. Let's go back to add. So I've added everything that I need to add. Now my final result or final cost is now 1.2 million, right? So after everything, I want to reassign my total figure to another variable. I can just say, let's say, okay, just come here. Let's final figure be equals to 0, or let's leave this like this, just remove it. So you can just say, yeah, say let's final figure will now be equals to selected items plus cost of items. So you can do this. You can also do this, right? Or you can say
Okay.
change figure. So at this point, if you console or log your change figure, it's going to give you the total sum. It's going to give you like 126 plus 316 or whatever. So now this is it. So if I believe this is what you're saying, you want to, if we can decide to say, okay, I want to change my selected item at some point, right? So I've been adding selected items. So when I get to maybe when user has gotten to like 5 items, they've clicked to like 5 items. So I want to reassign that selected item to another variable name. I don't want to use selected item anymore. I want to use it as final figure, for example. So I can now do that by saying final figure will now be equals to. In this case, how do you even do this? If you want this to happen, there's a way you can check for the length of an item. Length of an item is, this one is 8, right? So you can say that if, although that one is just a very big thing. So you say if, I'm not supposed to do this, but if num, or if the number of click time, right? Or let's say if num of item is less than 0 or 1. That means if user has clicked, and then for every click, number of item is reducing. If I add one, number of item will reduce. If I add another one, it will reduce. So if that number of item, which is 8 currently, is now less than 1, that means if everything don't finish, I don't have anything to add anymore. You can now say final figure. You can now reassign it as final figure, right? Final figure will now be equals to selected item plus cost of item. So this will also work fine. Let me put this inside this place. But you guys should not worry about the if. I'm just using it to explain something, right? So if number of items is now equals to or is less than 1, which means there's nothing there anymore, then I want to reassign my selected cost of item into a final figure. So I say let final figure will now be equals to selected item plus cost of item. At the same time, although in this case, you cannot say plus or equals to, because we are reassigning it with a different variable. You can only use plus or equals to if it is the same thing that you want to update. If you are trying to update the same basket, that's when you use plus or equals to. But in this case, we cannot use plus or equals to because we are more like packing everything into another basket. So that's just basically it. I don't know if that answers the question. I don't know if it does. All right. Okay, I see Jessam. Gospel. Okay, I'm not sure it's there anymore.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, what I want to actually, it's not actually a question. I just want to know if there will be a chance, like for you to, for us to fasten our learning, if you can have maybe something like a evening class or a night class.
I'll have to agree because this stuff is long.
Just give me a minute first. Let me. Okay. Let's wrap up the class. Thank you very much, guys, for today's class. If there are no more questions, I will stop recording now so we can move on to the next thing. We'll meet again same time next week on Thursday. Sorry, on Tuesday, and there will be okay. There's already a task for the week, so let's feel free to try as much as possible to complete our task before Saturday. Right? Just try as much as possible to complete before Saturday. Just try. I know that is a little bit bulky, but just try your best to complete before Saturday. So thank you very much, guys, and have a good day. All right, let me stop recording.